everyone, how are you all? Hope you are all doing well at home. So, today we are going to start next topic in your chapter federalism, that is how is federalism practiced in India. How question comes from this topic is reasons for the success of federalism in India. Now don't get confused between the previous topic and this topic. Previous topic was what makes India a federal country, that what provisions we have in India, that what gives us reason to call India as a federal country. There we studied that there is threefold distribution of power. Then we have seen unequal powers given to the states, union territories and all. Today we will see that yes, we call India as a federal country, but how do we practice federalism? Okay, so the question comes in the way that what are the reasons for the success of federalism in India? Okay, so let us start today. The real success of federalism in India is attributed to its nature of democratic politics. Now, the reason for the success of federalism lies in the democratic politics. It is very easy to call any country as federal country, okay, but actually the real test lies behind how that country reacts or accommodates to the diversity found in the country, or reacts to the needs of the people or demands of the people. Okay, so this here in this test, India has always passed with very good marks. We will see in this topic here that how India has tackled such many of the problems whatever arise. So we tackled very efficiently. We'll have look for on three such topics in this under this main topic, how federalism is practiced. First, we will give example of linguistic state. This topic, how is federalism practiced, we will study in three portions. First portion is linguistic state, second will be language policy, and third will be center-state relationship. Okay, so the success of federalism lies on the three pillars. Okay, one is linguistic state, then is language policy, and then is center-state relationship. These are the three pillars of the success of Indian federalism. So now let us see the first pillar, which is linguistic state. Now the name only might have suggested you linguistic states means the languages, the states based organized on the basis of language spoken. Okay, where people speaking the same language they live. Okay, so the creation of linguistic state was the first and major test for democratic politics. As I said that this was the major test which India passed very scoring very good marks. So test for democratic politics in India, it was from 1947. It continued for so long till 2017. Even in October 2019 also we have seen creation of two union territories, Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. Then many old states have vanished and many new states have been created. If you see the old map of India, you have seen in class 8, there you see that the states which we see at present in India, these states were not present there, these names were not there, and few states we saw they were very large in area, right? But now many other states they have come out, they have been formed from those larger states. So the areas, the boundaries, and the names of the states they have changed over the period of time. How this all has happened? There can be 2 or 3 methods of the creation of states. Some states have been formed of the people who spoke the same language. Now, the first demand to form the state on the basis of language, it came in 1953 from Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so there people speaking Telugu language, they started demanding the creation of state for them as Andhra Pradesh for them, because to such a geographical extent wherever people lived. Okay, means to to what extent of geographical area the people of Telugu speaking they were they were living. So up to that area Andhra Pradesh state was to be made. This was the demand of the people there, and one protestant there, he went on hunger strike for around 45 to 50 days, and during that strike only he died. So it created pressure on the government to create Andhra Pradesh on the basis of language spoken. But now the state was formed, but there were few you can say differences of opinions in that matter, few leaders, they feared that if we create states on the language on the basis of language spoken, it can be against the unity of the country. Okay, if you read this line, the demand for the formation of states on the basis of language was raised. Some national leaders feared that it would lead to the disintegration, or you can say it can be the process of losing the strength of country. You can understand this with the example. You might have heard this proverb, किसी को उंगली दे देना, राइट, फिर वो उंगली के बाद हाथ पकड़ लेना, पैर रखने की जगह दी तो पूरा बैठ जाना एंड ऑल. Might have seen these proverbs in Hindi, right? So it was like that if you listen to their demand forming a state on the basis of language, then these states, they may have more and more wants. Their wants can be never ending. Then someday they can even ask that we speak different language, our culture is different, we want to get separate from Indian Union and we want our separate nation, right? So in this way it can be against the integrity of the nation, right? This was the major focus of the nation that time, to keep all the hold all the states together, right? So leaders feared that this can be against the unity of the country, or disintegration may happen. So they feared that we should not form states on the basis of language spoken, and also they had seen one partition on the basis of religion, so their language could also give or show them the same results, so they had that fear. But then the experience showed them that actually listening to the demands of people and forming states on the basis of language, it had made country more united. Now states, they had more trust on the Union of India, that it is not like, the Union of India, it is not like they don't listen to the states, or the states they have just on the mercy of the Union of India. It was not so. They listened to the demands of people. Okay, so it created more trust on the Union government of India by the states. Okay, so it actually helped uniting country. Okay, or you can say it gave strength to the country. So the different states were formed on the basis of language spoken. Gujarat on the basis of Gujarati language. Then we have seen the people, those who spoke Kannada language, Karnataka state was formed, right? Then people, those who spoke Marathi, Maharashtra was made. Okay, so languages, on the basis of languages spoken, states were reorganized. Now there was one more method of organizing states. This method was on the basis to recognize the different culture, ethnicity and geography. Now different culture, we can take example of Nagaland. Actually Naga is the name of tribe living there. So on the basis of this Naga tribe, Nagaland means place. Okay, Nagaland was formed. Nagaland state came into existence. So this was to recognize their different culture. Okay, or different ethnicities, because these tribal people, they have their different culture, right, and their ethnicity is different. And few states were formed on the basis of different geographical divisions, such as you may take the example of here Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh, you might have heard in Hindi, Him means mountain, right? So Him means mountain, Anchal means, Anchal means in that place. Himachal means the place which is in the Anchal of, or which is under the shadow of mountains. Okay, so Himachal Pradesh was formed. Okay, it was formed on the basis of different geographical, so you can say topographic basis, or different geographical division. Okay, so states were formed on the basis of language spoken, on the basis of different geography or culture or ethnicity. So in this way states came into existence in India. Okay, so you can see few example in this map here. Here you are seeing this light green portion which I am marking here. Right now no state exists in this form, right? Here we have now, this is Gujarat, here we have Maharashtra, right? And this Rajasthan is not this big as it is shown here. Here we have now Madhya Pradesh, right? This part was that time Rajputana. Okay, so states were reformed. Few parts that time they were under French and Portuguese, which we got later. Now you can see this portion here. This is northeastern part of India. Assam, Sikkim, Meghalaya, these, if you notice, years are also written when these states came into existence. Arunachal Pradesh in 1972, it became in state. Then Nagaland in 1963. Then Manipur, Mizoram in 1987. This is Tripura. Then 1966, Punjab split into a smaller Punjab state, a new state Haryana, and Chandigarh Union Territory. Okay. Otherwise, Punjab was biggest state before 1966, but then Haryana and Chandigarh, these two, Chandigarh was Union Territory and Haryana, different state, came into existence. State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956. With effect, 14 states and 6 union territories were formed on linguistic lines. Actually, when we always say that states were reorganized on the basis of language spoken in the year 1956, right? So it was not only the year 1956, the reorganization process continued till long. We have seen 2017, right? But on the basis of language spoken, they were formed in 1956, and 14 states that time came into existence in this way with 6 union territories. After that, we have seen the number went on so much, right? So this was all about to do here with this topic, that federalism, how federalism is practiced. First topic is linguistic states. This is the first pillar, that how did we react to the demands of the people, how did we accommodate the different culture of the people, or different geographical divisions of the country, how did we accommodated this diversity. Okay, this was the first test of Indian federalism, and which India has shown very good results, right? I hope you are clear with the topic. Let me know your queries if you have any. We'll see you soon in next video, where we will discuss the second pillar of the Indian federalism, which is language policy. Thank you for watching.